I met Rav Avshi when I was in Kirasir. Abe is the one who brought him down. We were all equally inspired. His Torah is truly, truly unbelievably deep and at the same time extremely relatable. So fasten your seatbelts and without further ado.
Shalom Aleichem. Shalom. First one, just a little quick disclaimer that this is not a shiur in Kabbalah. You know that Josh wants everyone to mamish fly carpets and we're going to have questions and answers. I want to hear your thoughts and open discussion. We'll start with a little Torah and nothing listed. It's also related to Purim, the season that we're at. Torah Reish Gimel, very short Torah in Likutei Moharan, 203. מסיפורי דברים של אנשים יכולים לדע מעמד השכינה. From the talking, from the chit-chat, from the stories that women are talking, one can know the state of the Shekhinah. The Shekhinah, what is the Shekhinah? Shekhinah is Malchut HaAtzilut, the kingship of HaKadosh Baruch Hu. The kingship, the concept of Malchut, the concept of kingship in this world is not as steady. There were times in our history where the kingship of Hashem was very strong in this world, like the time of Shlomo HaMelech, when the Beit HaMikdash was built, and the kingship of Hashem down here in this physical dimension was as revealed as it was in the higher dimensions. And there are times like today where the kingship of Hashem, yes, it's true up there, but in the physical dimension, it's very, very hidden. And the Shekhinah, Malchut Shamayim, is related to the moon. The moon is not a constant, the moon is a changing. Versus the sun. The sun is a constant, male and female, the sun and the moon. So, what is happening with the kingship of Hashem? So if one wants to know what's happening with the kingship of Hashem, you should listen to what women are talking about. Where is the kingship holding? That's what it says about Mordechai Tzaddik in Megillat Esther. שהמתהלך לפני חצר בית הנשים לדעת את שלום אסתר. Mordechai, after Esther is taken to Achashverosh, you would think Mordechai would, maybe, I don't know what he would do. What was he doing? The Torah in Megillah teaches us that he kept on staying close to the gate of Chatzar Beit HaNashim, close to the courts where the women were, and through that he would know the Shlom Esther, how Esther is doing. Esther hi Shekhinah. Esther is also in the Sfarim called the Sihara. One of the names of Esther was Sihara. Sihara is moon. Esther obviously has to do with Esther, with hiding. Anochi Esther Astir. The kingship of Hashem. Yes, in the heavens it's always one. In the heavens it's always, the revelation of Hashem is always shining in it. That's in Olam HaAtzilut, that is in the world of unity. But in Olam Bria, Olam HaYetzira, Olam HaAsiyah, in the lower worlds that Hashem made. How much kingship of Hashem is revealed in that world is depending on how much the lower beings, the lower humans, how much they prepare themselves. When the lower beings are aligned, when they're correct, then the presence of Hashem, the Shekhinah Kedusha, rests in their machshavot, in their diburim, in their maasim. It's Bria, Yetzira, Asiyah. And then the kingship of Hashem, if you say when Mashiach comes, Yihi chvod Adonai le'olam, Yismach Adonai b'ma'asai. Yismach is the same letter as Mashiach, rearranged. That when Mashiach comes, when mankind is accepting, Bayom Ahu Yeh Adonai Echad U'Shmo Echad, when man accepts the kingship of Hashem in this world and subjugates and gives over their machshavot, their diburim, their maasim, then the light of the Shekhinah Kedusha will shine all in Sof, all the worlds will shine into this world. And then Mashiach is going to sing the song. Mashiach means the world, the redeemed world. Vihi Chvod Adonai Le'olam. Then the Kavod of Hashem doesn't just stay in the heavens, doesn't just remain as possibilities. It comes into the world. Yismach Adonai b'ma'asav. Then that means that the revelation of Hashem goes till Olam Ha'asiyah, till the last dimension. So Esther is the Shekhinah. Ki Mordechai hamasig zot. Mordechai ve'Esther, it's the Kedusha that they're merging, their union, their partnerhood is what brought about the Geulah of Purim, what brought about the ability of Am Yisrael to return to the Tshuva. Am Yisrael at that point, their actions, their thoughts, their speech was disconnected, was selfish. They were engaging in the Suda v'Chashverosh. They were not Mekabel Ol Malchut Shamayim. Mekabel Ol Malchut Shamayim. And Mordechai ve'Esther, Mordechai was dealing with the people, and Esther was in the palace. And through their Kedusha, Mordechai ve'Esther, Am Yisrael was zochet to this Geulah of Purim. So Mordechai המשיג זאת לדע שלום השכינה, מחצר בית אנשים על ידי סיפורי דברים. So therefore, Mordechai, when he wanted to know what is happening with the kingship of Hashem, at what state is it holding? So you go to the Merkava. Everyone in this world is a Merkava, is a chariot, is a facilitator to spiritual strengths. And the man is aligned to certain worlds, and the woman is aligned to the concept called Malchut. Therefore, a woman is involved in ups and downs, just like the lunar cycle, renewal, even the cycle of the period, which is a basic cycle in a woman. A monthly cycle is directly related to the moon. Mm-hmm. The ups and downs of the moon are the shifts in the moods. They even spoke to doctors that told me that on a full moon, the hospitals are more full, and there's different pressures because it's still the water balance of the world. The woman is very connected to the moon. So, and we spoke about a night of speaking to the women and hearing what the women have to hear. I was excited to, they said, what do you want to talk about? I said, I don't want to talk about, what do you guys want to talk about? Because I want to know what's happening with Malchut Shamayim, what's happening with the Shekhinah and Kedusha. This is the time. So, B'ezrat Hashem, let's open up the table for something. So, B'ezrat Hashem, let's begin. If anyone has some questions, please.
This is the concept of women being the receivers, being able to receive, and femininity like connecting to that. How is somebody able to receive in a genuine and connecting way? And just explaining the concept of it.
So giving and receiving is the human condition. It's not a man or woman. Matter of fact, every human being has what I like to refer to as a point of richness and a point of poverty, plus and a minus. Every human being is. Everyone has something that they're absolutely unique and special and gifted. And the Ari HaKadosh teaches us that every human being is created absolutely unique. No two people were ever the same. There was something about you that the entire world needs. At the same time, you need what everyone in the world has. That means that the true kli, the true vessel to contain the Ol Ein Sof, the blessing of Hashem, is mankind noticing that each individual noticing that it's not about me. As perfect, as smart, as whatever amazing as a person may be, they cannot contain the absolute revelation. The Shekhinah, the presence of Hashem, Kol be'asara shechin tasharia. The Shekhinah rests on this 10. 10 means 10 people that can come together and make one vessel. And it's interesting that what connects us, obviously, is what I have to share and what I have to give. But What really connects us is my lackings, what I need. Because if you had everything and you were perfect, then you would just stay alone at the peak of your perfectness, and you would not be a part of the human experience. And therefore, every human being goes through brokenness, through poverty, whether it's the tzaddik and the rasha, the ani, the ashir, the chacham, the tipesh. It doesn't make a difference. All these are bereshit bara Elohim et hashamayim v'ta'aretz. Bereshit is bet reshit. Everything in this world is created as a two. Lo tov eyot adam levado. No human being should be alone. Every human being needs to be a part of a minyan, group, and therefore every human being is involved in receiving. And receiving is not, sometimes people don't like to acknowledge the point of poverty in them. They like to stay on the point of richness. This is what I have, to show your advantages, to show where you're strong at. The brokenness in our heart, the brokenness that we go through in our relationships or in our life, is a place where I could connect to others, where I could be vulnerable and join the team. And it should be valued as important in the human experience.
Well, it's very broad, but something that I have always really never understood. The whole concept of hair covering, why we cover our hair, what are like the parameters, what literally why do we do it? I don't know. And yeah, meaning behind it. And wigs, like I just don't understand it. Obviously I'm wearing one right now, but it's so every single time I put it on, I'm like, what the heck are we doing? It makes no sense to me. Like it's just really hard to understand. So.
With a lot of Hashem Shabbat, that we should be able to really bring down the right light to understand this. Before we go into covering the hair, let's talk about hair. Hair comes from the gulgol, from the skull. The skull has many, many fountains, and every hair is actually like a hollow tube that comes from the skull and goes out. Yes. Yes. Talking about hair is being revealing.
Guys.
We have the chance of fulfilling the mitzvah of Ahavta l'reacha kamocha by doing absolutely nothing. By being totally silent so your friends could hear. Because this is the voice that Hashem gave me. I'll try to speak a little stronger, but if I focus on my voice, my focus is inward. And this is where how I talk. So Bezrat Hashem. Hashem help all of us here. In a deeper sense, when a person goes to hear a chacham speak, they're really not going to hear them. They're going to hear Dvar Hashem. They're going to hear, Kadosh Baruch Hu, I want to know what to do. I can't go to you right now in Har Sinai, so I'm going to go listen to this chacham, to this Rav. But it's really the siyata d'ishmaya, and it's your tefillot that will allow the right godliness to come through. And Bezrat Hashem for you guys to get your answers and your yeshuva da'at and Sarot here, so repeat a little bit, comes from the gulgolet. The gulgolet, the skull, is the pnimiyut of a person, the etzem of a person. And from this etzem, from this essence, etzem is also bone, but etzem is also essence. The etzem hayom hazeh. From this essence, Hashem made revelations. There's hair, there's beard hairs. Each hair symbolizes a different revelation. Sarot is also called machshavot. Noda b'she'arim ba'ala. Mesha'er, l'sha'er is to appraise. Hebrew, l'sha'er. Sarot are clearly the machshavot of a person. And a woman being parallel to the midah, that's called malchut. Malchut is connected to the midah called din. Din is not a negative chas v'shalom of judgment. It's not the opposite of chesed in this context. That means that a Kadosh Baruch Hu made the midah of malchut as a midah that could receive the shefa from all the sfirot, and all the sfirot, the shefa, the infinite light that's coming from all the worlds could go into the malchut, and in that malchut, it could then transfer to the next world. The beginning, the first sfirah, the first revelation of Hashem in any world is called Keter, crown. It says in the Megillat Esther, Keter Malchut Berosham. Keter, every beginning of every world stems from the end of the Malchut above it. So the light, imagine, comes down, flows in from the Creator into the creation in this holy arrangement of sfirot that HaKadosh Baruch Hu made. And it goes into the Malchut, and from the Malchut into the Keter, and then it goes to the Sfirot, and then it's from world to world. That's how it flows. And therefore, when the Shefa of Hashem goes into the Malchut, it gets minimized and minimized and minimized and minimized till it's like Mamash had an ability to then transfer into the Keter of the next world and then expand to the Chokhmah Bin Adat into the next world. And therefore, the thoughts of a woman are not like the thoughts of a man. The thoughts of a woman, they symbolize the thoughts that come from Kochot Adin. The thoughts that stem from this. A man and a woman are totally, totally different. They're parallel to different arrangements in the heavens, in the real world. We're living in a generation that thinks that a human being is a body. They try to change their bodies. Fools. Shotim shebaolam. Human being is essence. The essence lives in a shirt. Call that shirt a body. Obviously very chashuv, very important. Tzelem Elohim. And therefore, the essence of a woman, which we spoke at the beginning, which is the Shekhinah Kedusha, is related to this flow of life, that this is how the Creator brings forth the flow of life through the 10 Sfirot. And it goes from world to world, from world to world. In this arrangement, every world has a Sfirot. And when the Shefa is done in one world, it goes into the Malchut, and then the next world into the Keter. Then it goes Ma, Bina, Adam, Chesed, Vuat, Tiferet, Netzach, Hod, Yesod, Malchut. Then again, Keter. It's from the Malchut into the Keter. Keter, Malchut Berosha. Every Keter has a Malchut above it. Right? The Malchut. So therefore, Kadosh Baruch Hu made it that this midah gives birth. That's why women give birth. It's not that you give birth because you're a woman. You're parallel to this midah. And therefore, the thoughts that come out of the etzem of the woman, the thoughts that are generated from the skull, from the etzem, since the woman is din, her thoughts are thoughts of din. And the Zohar Kadosh explains that when a woman covers her hair, she's covering the kochot of the din. I'm not getting into the reasons of tzniut, into the pshat level. With what should a woman cover her hair? With anything. With anything. Wigs are not a new invention. Wigs existed at the time of the Mishnah. Wigs from animal hair, from human hair, discussions in the Mishnah Shabbat. The Lubavitcher Rebbe, Alav Shalom, was very into women dafka wearing wigs and not tichels, not covering their hair with tichels. Because when the Lubavitcher Rebbe got to America, he told his father-in-law this famous line that he said, America is anderish, America is different. They realized that in America there was a different lifestyle, different galut. The men changed their clothing from what it was. And therefore, his vision, his Kodesh, was that to really give the women the ability to live in the modern society and to be proud and to do what they need to do. He wanted his Hasidim to wear specifically wigs. Now you may say my wig looks better than my hair. Lucky you. There's nothing wrong with looking good. Look good for your husband, look good at the right place. A woman, tzniut is an attitude. It's more than just dressing. It's obviously also dressing. And this deep understanding that HaKadosh Baruch Hu brings about the creation in this way, that HaKadosh Baruch Hu brings about his mysterious creation, dafka in the darkness, dafka in the Malchut has to be covered. Tehillim, the Melech teaches us, he blesses a man. Ashrei kol yireh gever, ashrei kol gever yireh Adonai. He says your wife should be gefen poria, like a fruitful vineyard, be'yarketeh, in the home. Not that chas v'shalom, women should go out and work. But the bracha, we know that the Gemara teaches us, en habracha shruya, ela v'davar samui min ha'ayin. We know that Am Yisrael is forbidden to count. We're forbidden to count Am Yisrael because bracha, which is the flow of Hashem, how Hashem reveals his blessing in the world, is only when something is hidden from the eye. How he's choosing to bring his, also the Malchut and also the Keter. Keter, they're both very hidden sfirot, very hidden dimensions and powers that Hashem creates. So therefore, in order for a woman to really appreciate the details of the halachot that have to do with women, it's important to learn what is a woman. You guys know about Chala, Nidad, Lakat HaNer, these are famous things, right? The woman is connected to these mitzvot because in Etz Hadat, the woman, through her, Hashem brought that there should be the secret of death in the world. And therefore, the woman is involved in specific mitzvot. In a Parashat Chala, because Adam, he was the Chala of the world. The same way you have a dough, and you take a piece of the dough and you say, Rezu Chala. The same way Hashem made Adam ad afar min ha'adama. He made a whole dough, and then he took from it the prime and made from it man. And therefore, the woman is involved directly with the Parashat Chala. Nida, which is the cycle of the blood, is because the woman introduced the bloodshed to the world. And therefore, she's involved in rectifying this inyan. And Hadlakat HaNer, and you guys light candles in Shabbat Kodesh. Lighting candles in Shabbat Kodesh is not a mitzvah on the woman and not on the man. I wasn't home this Shabbat. My wife lit in Tzfat. I lit over here. Because I have to light Hadlakat HaNer Shabbat. But when I'm home, my wife lights for me. Because it's the mitzvah of the woman to bring back the light to the world. She caused a certain extinguishing of the light, and she's going to be involved in. So we see that a woman is very specific into what she's parallel to. And it's important to appreciate the design of HaKadosh Baruch Hu. This is how he creates the world. So Hashem makes the woman parallel to this Koach Hadin, that this Koach Hadin could receive the Shefa from all the 10 Sfirot and magically transmit it to the next world to create the next worlds. And this process of receiving it and giving it on is a secret. This process is called bracha. Bracha means bringing the truth and the flow of the Creator into the world, bringing Nishmot Israel. You guys are bringing the Neshamot of Israel into the world. There's no bigger bracha than this. This bracha has to be something that's hidden. So the secret of a woman is really to embody the nature of what she is, the specific design of how Hashem makes her, and to realize that, yes, I am Koach Hadin. There's a power of extreme judgment in me. There's extreme detail in me. Din doesn't mean that you're judging, that you're not doing chesed. You want to do tremendous chesed. But the ability of all the details to get concentrated into into one vessel and to bring forth the next world. Man doesn't have this ability physically, not emotionally, not spiritually. A woman, you're made. She makes your body, your soul, your life, your skull. The skull of a woman is built different than a man. And therefore the thoughts, the hair, which is the thoughts of a woman, by her covering them, she is covering the powers of din from expanding into the world, and that causes the bracha of Hashem to be able to flow into the world.
Like one question, another thing. How does covering the media din allow for her? Like, what's wrong with media din expanding into the world? Why is that not what we want? And what exactly is the media din? And if a woman doesn't cover her, does that mean that she doesn't have the capacity to do that? Doesn't have the.
Wait, repeat it.
The question that I asked in follow-up was, what exactly is the media din and why do we not want that expanding into the world? And why does covering it allow the bracha to come?
The world is built obviously of chesed and din. The water flowing through the sfirot, through the system, is the goodness of Hashem, the chesed of Hashem. And the arrangement that Hashem arranged is that this flow should be able to go from world to world. Now, between every world, there's a division, there's a palgod, there's a nasach. The lowest level, meaning the entire world as we know it, everything that you could imagine, compared to the world above us, is like a grain of mustard. That means that's the amount of restriction and concentration that the flow of this chesed must go and to then flow from there and then create the next level. So if at that point there's a revelation of the shefa in the form of din, that will be missing the point. I mean, the flow would not then flow on, and therefore the Zohar Kadosh writes that a woman that does not cover her hair, the kids have issues with their success because the kids are the next world that's created from you. And those kids, their shefa forever and ever will come through you, the same way you're born from your father and mother, so that forever and ever the flow of shefa forever and ever goes to your father and mother. Even after they pass away, that's the mitzvah of kibud av va'em, is even achar motam, even after they pass away. It's not just that you came to the world to the father's seed and the mother's seed coming to the world and that's it, and then they're gone. Since you could not come into the world unless they gave you that, it's called a malbush, that clothing, and you're born through them, forever your flow flows through them. And therefore, when the arrangement is right, and then the goodness, the water of the chesed, which is water of Hashem, could flow through the system of the sfirot and go from the malchut in a secret way into the keter of the next world, and then express itself properly and unfold properly in the next world, in the lower world. You could say in our world, understand it will be like a mother and a child. That's a clear example of the sfirot. And that's what the Zohar says, that's the outcome, because it's exact. Yeah.
Why does a woman's state change when she gets married? Like, why don't I have to cover it? And someone who's married, like, what changes?
Well, till a woman is married, she's not involved in the flow of life into the world. In the spirit, potentially you are. There's not Hashem when you're married, then now you are shifting into your role of being Adam. That's why Shel Brachot, Baruch Hashem, we get married, and any Ravakot from Israel, Hashem Yemael Zebugam. We say, Baruch Ata Hashem, Yotzer Ha'adam. One of the Brachot you're going to notice, say, Baruch Ata Hashem, you're aware that you create man. Why don't we make this bracha when the child is born in the hospital? It's a boy. Baruch Ata Hashem Yotzer Ha'adam. Is that much more fitting? It's a girl. Yotzer Ha'adam. You create man. Watching the miracle of birth is like, wow, unbelievable. That's not, we don't make that bracha. There's other brachot, the Torah Metiv, Shechianu. Because not a man and not a woman is complete till they're married. Because Zachar u'Nekava be'ra'am be'ikra et shmama. Only when a male and female are together in a marriage, in the system of marriage, only when they're called Adam. So therefore, when a woman shifts into her role of being, and now she's Adam, then now get ready. The Shefa is going to start flowing through you, and now cover the powers of Din. And yes, sorry, please.
What you're talking about is like the difference that to have to be able to receive all the Shefa and the Shrina of HaKadosh Baruch Hu. The thing is, what happened is, for example, we have like blockages within our spirit, in our like level, like spiritual level, bodies and everything. Also, when we marry, we connected the partner. We don't receive directly the Canaan is going through our husband. And for example, the consciousness of our husband or the yesod of our husband, which is the connection that we're gonna the parents, I don't know how to say it in English. That's connecting the faucet that's gonna give it to us because we just in reception mode. What would be your advice for us to be able to unlock blockages, create real flow in our lives? And what would be also your advice to be able to help our husband to be able to clean their assets so we'd be able to receive like the proper light for us to be able to give them back and to bring like Shecha in our house and bring all the miracles.
Beautiful, fantastic question. Darash Rabbi Akiva, the Gemara says, Rabbi Akiva teaches us, Ish v'isha zachu shchina b'nei. When a man and woman have the zachut, the shchina rests within them. And the Gemara explains that Ish is Aleph Yud Shin. Isha, Aleph Shin Hey. The Ish has a Yud in his name. The Isha has a Hey. If they're Zachu, if they're proper, then the Shekhinah, the presence of Hashem, is in their life. If not, the presence of Hashem leaves. When the Yud leaves, and then the Hey leaves, you get Esh and Esh. Balagan. Fine. Now, the flow of life clearly is Yud Kei Vav Kei. This is the name of Hashem. This is the name of the Chesed, the flow of life. When a man and woman are in Shalom, Shalom is Shlemut, is completion. We know that the mitzvah to have children is to have a son and a daughter, like Bet Hillel, Ben vebat. Abba, Ima, Ben, Bat. That's Yud Kei Vav Kei. The flow of life into the world is a man and a woman and a son and a daughter, and this is the ability of the flow to go into the world. There's a lot that a woman could do to bring shalom. Obviously, shalom is a two-way street. It's the interest of a man and the interest of a woman. But right now, we're taking responsibility to say, what could I do? So zachu, and the pshat is like zachut, like winning. But in Chassidut, we learn that Zachu is Milashon Izdakchut, Milashon purifying. When a man and a woman purify themselves, then the Shekhinah rests inside themselves. When there's Shalom, therefore, the value of Shalom, there's nothing higher than Shalom. And person should do whatever they can from their side to promote Shalom, not to be in tzedek, not to be in right, but to try to create the flow of Shalom. And really, I mean, the ultimate etzah really, really is tefillah, because you need a tremendous chut. It's like you would ask me, what's the etzah for chinuch? We can talk from today to tomorrow, but 95% of chinuch is tefillah. And what's the etzah for shlom bayit? And there's all kinds of etzot. Promoting your husband, encouraging him to do the right thing. The Gemara says, "Hani nashim b'may kazachian." What's the schut of nashim in the shamayim if a woman doesn't learn Torah? And that's just because she encourages her husband to learn Torah. There's a lot that you could do without pushing him, without nudging him, but to compliment him, to show him appreciation of anything spiritual that he's doing, to up his spiritual level, and to make sure that there's shalom. You know, it takes two to tango, it takes two to fight in every fight. And if we take shalom as a life mission, that we want the Shekhinah to be with us, we want the Shekhinah, we want Hashem's name to be with us, then I would say to daven a lot of tefillot about this. In our generation, especially, the other side, the sitra achra, the challenge is so much on the couple, on the marriage. The world is so anti-marriage with the gay, with the lesbian, with the trans, all this tuma. And childbirth. Who's talking about childbirth? The whole world is anti-children. In Europe, the birth rate is 1.4. How does a society even produce? Two people produce 1.4. You're a failing society. You're dying. You don't need anything to kill you. You're just going to end. So I would say that making that as a top priority in your tefillot, to have shalom, making it as a top priority in your dialogue, to say that I'm putting peace above anything, not being right, and not just mamash trying to give shalom in other people's lives. You know, if you want something, sometimes give it to others. As that flow comes through you, you're the channel for it. It affects you. And anything spiritual and good that your husband is doing or could do, encourage it and promote it, and realize that your husband's spiritual level is, you know, it's really the woman's spiritual level really is the ultimate level of the home. There's a lot that whatever you could do to promote it, and to ask Hashem that the Shekhinah should rest in your home. Yeah. It's cool.
Power. Foresee things now. You go, oh, that sense, but no. So
My wife's never remembered it. Obviously, Binah, as you guys know, is one of the 10 sefirot that exists in everything. The 10 sefirot is the way HaKadosh Baruch Hu creates the world. Ma Binah Dat. This is how everything in the world is. The Olam HaTikun has the 10 sefirot. However, the mind itself is divided into three: Chokhmah, Binah, Dat. It's not really divided into four. That's why the tefillin shel rosh has two shin. If you notice, next time you see a tefillin shel rosh, notice that one shin has 3 and the other shin has 4. Because the dot also is really one mind that's made out of both. The chokhmah is the ability in the nefesh, and we're going to look at it from the human perspective. The chokhmah is the mind, chokhmah me'ayin timatzeh. The chokhmah is the ability of a person to learn something from the nothingness. Me'ayin, from the unknown. You cannot know something, and then new information comes in, and that is chokhmah. Chokhmah is described, one of the ways describing it is like the letter Yud. It's like a capsule of receiving the information, but Yud is the smallest letter. It's right, gematria of 10, the numerical value of 10. It's an absolute, but it's just condensed. The female mind, or the left mind, there are all kinds of names for this, is the mind of Binah. The mind of Binah is explained by the letter Hey. The letter Hey is half, it's 5, it's half of the Chokhmah. The letter Hey is also a dot that has width and length and expansion. And the merging between the Chokhmah and the Binah give birth to a mind called Dat. The Dat has in it also Chasadim and also Gvurot. And that's Chokhmah Binah Dat in our mind, and then it goes down into the rest of the Sfirot. A man is primarily, even of course a man has Chokhmah Binah Dat, and a woman has Chokhmah Binah Dat. A man is primarily aligned with the Sfirah of Chokhmah. Right? So Ish has the Yud and the Isha has the Hey in their name. That means that the man is commanded to learn Torah, the man is involved in the world and receiving information. You could view it as your own mind that's receiving information from the vast world. Then there's the female mind that's called Yesh Me'ayin. That's the Yesh that receives from the Ayin. Aleph Yud Nun. The female mind is called Yesh Miyesh. That already takes that Yud and processes it at width and at length in 50 gates, 50 Sha'arei Binah. There's 50 Sha'arim. Again, this is connected to the hair, Sa'arot, Sha'arim, Shiurim, is thinking. And the Binah has the ability להבין דבר מתוך דבר. To understand something, and from that something, then say, oh, if that's like that, and that's like that, and that's like that, and that's to go on and on and on. And as a matter of fact, the Binah, in a certain sense, has an advantage over the Chokhmah, because Ezo Isha Kshera Shosa Ratzon Ba'aleh. I say, Namon Isha Sani Kirtzono. And this Ratzon, that means that the Binah has the ability to understand from the Chokhmah what's going on in the Keter, in the Ratzon, in the Olam HaRatzon, in the Olam HaAyin. So a healthy flow of godliness into the world has to do with the healthy flow of godliness through the 10 Sefirot. And in a union of a family, of a husband, wife, Abba, Ima, Ben, Bat, the husband embodies more than Moach HaChokmah. The woman embodies more Moach HaBinah. And when there's Shalom, and when they're working together, then there's Dat. So the Binah, you could look, there's many ways of looking at it. It's not lower or higher. It's a different, separate, second stage, so to speak, in the flow. This is how the Creator brings forth His life to the world. He goes from the unknown, from the Keter, and he goes into one Kli, Chokhmah. But in there is Ganuz, it's totally hidden in that little youth. And the Tana of Eliyahu Navi explains this in a Mashal, that it's like, imagine a man working in the field, right? Works hard in the field, and he's involved in the endless possibilities of the world. And he comes back with a big sack of wheat, of chita. And he gives, now the chita is wheat, it's not edible. And he gives it to his wife. And his wife takes it and cooks it and makes bread from it. So the man is, the Moach HaChokmah is involved with the Yesh from the Ayin. The Moach HaBinah is already processing the yesh from the yesh, but actually taking that wheat, which is not the final, it's getting to the Ratzon Bara. It's making the sweet into what eventually really, really it is. And that's really that's the design that Hashem wants every family, every cell of life, which is a mishpacha, which is a family, to have a full chokhmah that obviously has chokhmah, binah, dat, and tefillah, a full binah. And the woman, her main strength is binah. That's her main gift. When we understand things in context, then there's no higher or lower or better or right. This is how the arrangement happens in the micro and in the macro. So in the macro, when we could get it together and create the shalom between a man and a woman, and create that kavod, that respect between a man and a woman that are so opposite. Even the most similar man and woman are absolute opposites. Man and a woman. Right, what's the book? Men are from Mars, women are from Venus. So it is. Yeah? Good.
Okay, so it's kind of like two parts. First, I was wondering, like, how do we view physical health and like physical ailments from a spiritual or like mystical lens, if that exists? And then also specifically, since like the topic is related to women, I feel like it's a fact more and more women have a lot of like hormonal issues and like diseases related to their cycle and things like that. And I'm just wondering like how that would be, like how that's viewed from a spiritual lens, or I don't know if that makes sense.
Well, the body is an exact container to the nefesh. The your spiritual makeup, your spiritual being, which we normally call neshama, called neshama and guf. In more exact terms, it was nefesh, ruach, neshama, chaya, yechida. The nefesh being the lower, the ruach is higher, the neshama higher, and all that goes into the guf. The guf is like a glove or a container, just like every animal. Like the bird is not physical meat and feathers. There's a spirit of the bird. That spirit of the bird can't rest on a cow. That spirit of the bird rests into the bird. And the spirit of the cow is a specific spirit that rests into the cow. The same way the spirit of the Adam is made. That's why our physical being is made with the exact number of body parts, Taryag, 613. A woman actually has extra. A woman has the womb and different, more evarim than the man. Different evarim than the man. And it's clear that everything that we're sensing on the outside is really stemming from the inside, because we're not a body. We are in essence. So if something's wrong, it's wrong in the essence. At the time of the Bet HaMikdash, there was a spiritual condition called tzarat. Tzarat is weird blotches that appear on a person's wall or a person's clothing or on their body, all kinds of colors, many halachot, many books written about the differences between them. And the Gemara teaches us that the tzarat is a spiritual condition that happens to a person when they're involved in different sins, like Lashon Hara. When a woman or a man speak Lashon Hara, there's something inside that's wrong. You're not appreciating yourself. You're not respecting the other. You're focusing on the negative in another. You're embodying snake behavior. You're embodying killing behavior. Lashon Hara is a killer behavior. Lashon Hara wek shloshan, says the Gemara. And therefore, that type of speech or inner behavior, at the time of the Beit HaMikdash, when the worlds were clear and there were the alignment was clear, showed itself immediately in the body or in a person's possessions. And then they would go to the Kohen, and the Kohen would say it's tameh, and they would have their process would not be at all physical. There was no ointments or treatment. It was tshuva. My friend, take a week off, go do tshuva, go out of the camp. Don't speak to anybody. Isolation. That isolation is meant for you to return. Purification. In the state of the world today, B'avonotenu harabim, with the distance that we are from that purity, we're not always aware of how my body is connected to my essence, to my nefesh, to my ruach, to my neshama. And therefore we treat part of galut as looking at human beings as external beings. We treat illnesses as external, with ignoring the essence, the spirit of within. So it's clear that a person that's super connected, it says in the Ramban, for a person that's an absolute tzaddik would not even go to a doctor. They would be involved in checking inside, what's happening in my essence? Where am I off? Unfortunately, a person could be so off, or the world could be so off, that we don't even know where to start. But more unfortunate than that is our view of ourselves and our view of humanity as physical. So something is off. The person should take notice that there's something off in their essence, and they should do tshuva. They should take private time, just like the Mitzvah takes private time away from the world. And he realizes I've take time to speak to the Creator and say, I want to elevate my being. I want to correct my being. If I'm behaving in a way that I'm a merkava, that I'm embodying impure spirits and are manifesting as physical illnesses, then help me go to the root level and correct maybe my thoughts. Maybe I'm thinking negative about someone. Maybe I'm speaking negative about someone. Or maybe I'm acting chas v'shalom negative about someone. It's alavai that we'll get to this level that we'll be able to really purify the worlds and their behavior, to really get to that insight and to really know where everything stems from. But the basic healing really is tshuva, is returning of the essence of the spirit inside.
The Rambam, like everything he says about like physical health and like are we meant to like exercise, eat healthy? Like we are physical beings still, even though like our essence is spiritual.
Right. If you're learning that Rambam, learn also the Rambam in Hilchot Tshuva. In Hilchot Tshuva, he'll speak about the diseases of the essence: anger, jealousy, greed. And he speaks clearly. The Rambam in Hilchot Tshuva writes that don't think you have to do tshuva only from the negative things that you do. More deeper, you have to do tshuva from the negative midot. The midot are the root of the mitzvot. A person that their midot are crooked, the midot are selfish, there's no way they're keeping the mitzvot. And even if they're keeping the mitzvot, it's with great difficulty and with resentment, and it's not going to last, because the mitzvot are in the spiritual level, the midot are inner. So therefore, a person, especially in the Derech of Kabbalah, that's aiming to see the true essence of things, would have a finger on the pulse of where am I midot? Where am I off? Am I greedy? Am I jealous? Am I hating? Where am I off inside?
So if we're looking at ourselves that way, then like how do we not judge others if they're sick and we're following the same spiritual principles? Then what do we assume? So they're midot. Like how do we process that if
it's true for all humanity? When I see someone else suffering or going through pain, it's not my job to point the finger at them. It's my job to do chesed and help them. Mm-hmm. When something is wrong with me, that's one way of treating it. I could say Gamzu Letova, and I could say thank you Hashem. And you see great tzaddikim that suffer tremendously, and they had an amazing attitude to pain and suffering. Not when it came to their friend. No. You see another Jew, you stop your life, you stop the world, and you do everything you could to help them. It's not our job to play God with them and to play. If you want to help them, find the good in them. Rabbi Nachman Yosef teaches us that if you want to help someone better their ways, find an nekudat tova in them. Find the good point in them. Find the one good thing that person is doing, even though it may be a total rasha. Rasha gamur. You want to help him? Don't point out all his mistakes. You're going to make his mistakes his identity. No. Say your avirot, you're responsible for them. You have to do tshuva for them. but they're circumstantial. Your essence is good. And my testimony that your essence is good is that one good thing that you did. That's who you are. I'm going to view you as good. I'm going to see you as good. And I'm going to help you. When it comes to yourself, is that empty.
I guess that kind of tied into my question where I'm going to be very frank and open and kind of like it's very beautiful, and I know that when I'm doing Torah and I'm conscious and I'm like in that tapped flow, I guess the work is to constantly be in the flow, I guess, because when you're in that state, then everything makes sense and things that you perceive as bad aren't so bad, and you're able to kind of handle life in the right way. But I'll talk for myself, and probably I'd say 90% of the people here, where push comes to shove, life happens, we fall into survival mode, autopilot. And I feel like you mentioned this world and the generation, it's like obviously we're being pulled in 1,000 different directions. Social media, all the technology, like it's just you can't even keep up, let alone husband, family, kids, work, friends, etc. So I find that throughout the day, I want to be in this flow where it's like this metaphysical, beautiful, esoteric, and it's real, it's truth. It's like everything else is an illusion. But I guess for me, the whole concept of anxiety and survival mode and autopilot and like little things just getting to you. So it kind of ties into what you're saying. I guess maybe I have to learn the Rambam. But my real question is, how do you, I guess, put into fruition what you're saying throughout the day when we're not having you sitting here giving us this Torah?
Okay. So the answer is going to be on the words emet ve'emunah. Emet ve'emunah. The Ari HaKadosh writes that when a person says Shema, we say Shema twice a day. We say Shema in the morning and Shema at night in Arvit, Shacharit ve'Arvit. We don't say Shema in Mincha. And the reason we don't say Kriyat Shema in Mincha is because the intensity of the truth, when a person says Shema Yisrael in the morning, is so strong that impression remains with them throughout the day. That means that there's an emet. We are all commanded to, also women, to learn Torah. Torah, women, you're not to learn the Torah that men learn, but we are a nation of emet. All of us has to learn emet. And emunah, as a matter of fact, the Baal Tanya speaks about as being milashon imunim, practice. So the practical advice would be, if your life is busy, then you must be calm. Because if you're going to lose it, it's going to be even worse. And when your life gets busier, you must be calm. Because if not, you're not going to have fun. Okay. So therefore, it's important to take time. Maybe wake up in the morning before anyone wakes up. Use your binah yetera, use your feminine wisdom to find out, when do I have 20 minutes or a half hour that I could relax and shut my phone. And at that 20 minutes, it's you, and that's it. And then you're connecting to emet. You're connecting to the truth. You could say Shema, you could meditate, whatever it is, you could get to that core place of where I'm sitting, where you are right now, me sitting here talking to you. That place exists inside of you, it's not inside of me. And when you really connect to that place, especially in the morning, I advise you to do this in the morning, then the emunah, the memory of that place, it's called in Kabbalah the Rishimu, the imprint, will then stay with you. Just like if you look at a light and then close your eyes, you'll see the candle. Right? If you look at the candle and close your eyes, you'll see the dark end. So that means that we have the ability to look at the emet, to embody truth. And then we have emunah. Emunah is, I'm going into the dark right now. I'm going to be busy and running. I have no time to meditate. I want to, you're busy. I see, high energy all over the place. You're a mother, you're running a healthy home, the kids, the diapers, the shopping, a million things. Purim coming, Pesach, I don't even talk about, right? You're all over the place. So you're like, oh, you want to be like a Tzfat meditator? It's not happening. You're living a busy Miami life. So therefore, take time, I recommend in the morning, to get to the emet, to reach your inner truth, your rock truth, your solid truth. And then when you go throughout the day, you'll be able to even just close your eyes for a minute and have that emunah.
I actually have something to say off of what you just said. I heard from someone else who was giving a Hillel class, and it stuck with me. I have 6 kids.
Yeah,
So, so what basically when you feel out of control, that equals you not having emunah and bitachon. It's actually the opposite of that, where you are actually, it's almost like you're serving a Mother because you are not, it's the opposite of having emunah and bitachon, it's the opposite, control, getting angry and having past, and anger is like not having a direct emunah with Hashem. So whenever I feel I'm getting angry, I'm like, right away I'm thinking, what is Zara? And I think Hashem, and I want to have emunah and bitachon, and I want to feel that you are the one that's in control.
beautiful. So you're describing a sense of almost going into anxiety and then stopping and tapping into that emet that you know. So that emet, that's exactly the process of emunah. Emunah means emunatcha balelot. Lagid baboker chasdecha, emunatcha balelot. We all have in our life a boker and a laila. These seasons are not just out there, they're in our life. We all have sunshine and clarity and connection, or you could have if you want, if you choose to. And everyone has challenges and nights and storms. And what makes a night is that you can't connect to that night. The sun is not shining. And what gives Am Yisrael the koach at that point is the emunah. The same way in a cosmic, in a more global sense, the galut is compared to a night, and the geulah is compared to a day. What gives Am Yisrael in general the koach in the galut in this night is being connected to that emet, opening the Sfarim HaKadoshim, opening the Nevi'im, and remembering the truth that existed when there was a Bet HaMikdash, remembering the truth that existed when there was Nevuah, and me knowing that even though I can't see it now, but I know that once upon a time I saw it, and I could trust the memory of my own truth to stay calm right now and to make the right decisions right now. Please.
Something that I struggle with is regret. And now that I'm a mom of boys and married for a while, it's like I see that when we have these like superpowers. Like we know how to multitask, we know the house, like we're amazing. Okay. Like it just kind of seems like from the very beginning, like even just from the fact that we were taken from Adam because he needed a helper. Like it wasn't like we were initially made as equals, right? And then we get into the story of God. And then like all throughout history and even throughout the world, even like I know you mentioned Shalom Sani Isha and Shazani Yosanel. It's like there are all these little nuances that even though we're so amazing, like throughout history in Jewish culture and throughout secular culture, we're just not there. And it's this feeling of like, we know our men love us and our kids love us and whatever, but it's like, there's just always this feeling that we're not there. And I can't understand why.
Where is there?
Where is there? So I guess I know that we are not the same. Yeah, as you mentioned, we're opposite, 100% true. But we should be equals. And it doesn't feel like we're equals. And I don't mean to say this in like, the way that it is. I don't really buy into that thing. But I really do believe that men and women have different jobs. But it just feels like, just from the very beginning, like, they're just all these like little examples, like, you have certain rabbis who said certain things, like some rabbis who believe, many rabbis believe women shouldn't learn Gemara, or And I understand we have different bits of wisdom. I think all of this stuff. But at the same time, it's like when you're on our side, it just feels like, why are we being put into this? You know, you have to be this, but at the same time, you're not us, so you can't do this. I don't know if anyone in here know what I'm talking about. This is the way that I feel. Like, again, just to go back to the bracha, and again, and I learned about it. Oh, because more mitzvah, whatever. Like, why couldn't the rabbis say, Shasani kirsono for men too? Like, why couldn't we all just see that bracha? Like, does God made me the way He wanted to be? Like, there's just always this like real feeling of like we're the helpers. Like, we're not helpers. We're amazing. We're incredible. We love the household. Like, we similarly continue life. So where is the acknowledgement of that? Sorry. Again,
Actually, Adam and Chava are created as one. You're right. And there is a certain level of equalism. For example, like an absolute level of equalism that will be revealed when great man, reaches its potential. Pasuk teaches, Eshet chai lateret va'ala. The woman is the crown of her husband. And Shasani Kirtzano is not a lower or different. The woman is mechuvan to the Ratzon HaElyon, creator, the entire creation, Lecha Dodi Likrat Kala. The entire nation of Am Yisrael is a Kala. Shir HaShirim, the dialogue between a man and a woman. Why does the Creator make one person rich and one person poor? Why are some people blind and some people see? There's millions and millions of questions. I don't know why you are a woman and your husband is the man. You're both parts of one soul. That in coming into this physical dimension, there's a nesira, there's a cutting off, where you embody the female part of that relationship, and your husband embodies the male part of the relationship. The male part of the relationship comes with its exact challenges, its exact instructions, and the female part comes with her exact instructions. And I think that the real basis is just like anything else, is accepting that this is Ratzon Hashem. I don't know why. And the truth is, I don't care. Because He knows why. If I start asking why, there's a long list of whys that we could talk about. He knows every detail in the creation and why this detail right now, in order to reach its ultimate fulfillment, has to come embodied in a female experience. And why this detail has to come embodied in a male experience. And why this detail has to come, there's endless amount of human conditions that vary in human beings. People are born with all kinds of limbs missing, and sicknesses and diseases that we cannot imagine. People have kids and don't have kids. Asking the why, I don't believe, is the right question. I think the deeper calling is to trust the Creator, that He knows what He's doing. Because the questions that you're raising are just one little detail. There's endless questions of why. He knows, and he's good. And if you could put your head down and humble your head to say, Creator of the world, thank you for this experience right now. You think right now you're experiencing the totality of life. You're experiencing one station in your life. You were here before many times. And death is not the end of life. It's another station. And what happens after? A whole nother story. And in this, the deep, the emunah that Am Yisrael that gives us the sanity is the emunah and the trust in the Creator. And that understanding that everything is exact. Hashgacha pratit is exact to a level that if a leaf falls down a tree, is hashgacha pratit to fall land on this side or on this side. It's all one, it's all good, it's all exact. And the more we could embrace that require really in the human experience, we all have ego, all of us. We all want to understand, and we want to, and what we really need is anava. Everything is just accepting, because the whys, if a person's asking why, it spreads to everything. So I would advise you that to, in your tefillot, in your speech with the Creator, rejoice with your experience right now. And realize that it's the only way that your being could reach its tikkun. And this is going to be true for the fact that you're a woman. This is going to be true for your health status and your kid status and your marriage status and whatever it is. Rejoice with it and thank Him for it and trust. And realize that we have an ego inside of us that wants to understand why. That comes from, and the gift that we have of emunah is knowing a Creator, you're good. I wish I had better answers to all the whys, but I can tell you a quick story that keeps me. There was a man that was turned 100 years old, and at his birthday, his kids, his grandkids, his great-grandkids are all there. And they asked him, Zaidi, what's the secret of your long life? And he said, I never asked why. I said, you never asked why? What's the problem with asking why? He said, listen, I have a lot of friends. They said, God, why this? God, why that? God said, come, I'll show you. I never asked why. And that's really, it may be a joke, but it's really, really true. Because asking why, really, if you look deep inside, it's coming from the ego, from the basic ego that we all have. Saying, Creator, why aren't you doing what I want you to do? And we have the ability to humbly put our head down and say, Creator, whatever you're doing, Gamzu l'tova. Gamzu l'tova means on the small things and the big things and all the conditions. And understanding that this is how He's running the world.
Can I say something a bit shocking, honestly?
Actually, no, I
It's been so fun. I learned in Shur Torah that according to the Zohar, there is only 20% of the world that's like real Bnei Adam, which is what is Bnei Adam? It's like divine human, like divine soul, like a human being made with divine soul. It comes from Adam Arishon, and not the rest is not really coming from there. So what I can say from my understanding, my like small understanding, that would say everything that's around that's trying to engage holiness, Shekhinah, everything in couple, like you said, everything that's all the secular world doesn't want anything about marriage, couple, kids, like holiness, midot. And also those kind of people, they don't like those kind of entities that doesn't want that holiness. I can say, from what I understand, maybe Adam Rishon wasn't really at the start really like connected to his wife, didn't want her for 130 years. But after the Abraham Avinu, we can see back like equality in coupleness. And also even more because the Kadosh Baruch Hu was giving the biggest thing to Abraham, which was he was talking through to Abraham through Sarah. But what I think is that everything you feel it's because the world tried to discredit, like cut, cancel the sacred femininity power, which is Malchut. Why discredit? Yes, that power. Because if Malchut does his job, Mashiach is here because Mashiach ben David, which is Malchut, like the royalties. So what you feel is something that I can understand, but I can say something else if I say. Everything that we leave outside is just a reflection about what we leave inside, like we just said before. So if you feel that, means we need everybody, every time, every small thing that we leave, we need to readjust our being. Like you said, we need to pray, we need to go back to our own self. But I would say we have two sides, like you said before, the two brain of the Parfokma Bina, which is also two parts of ourselves, like divine feminine side and divine masculine side. And if we feel this kind of stuff, I think it's also because we have this disconnection about those two parts, and we feel more torn in one side because we need to regulate ourselves. I'm sorry, I'm just trying to understand the whole class. This is what I didn't understand from my side.
I just feel like I don't want to take the discussion.
That's okay.
Just like sometimes the women, at least from my perspective, I don't know if I'm getting on everybody here. It's like we're so spiritual naturally. We're just casual, which might be why, but at the same time, there's a certain of my experience, like some sensitivity that prevents me from being able to go all in. And I'm always trying to grow it all the time. Like, it's like everything to me, towards everything. I try with still, children. But at the same time, there's just like there's like this little thing that's just like, it just prevents me as a woman from feeling like, yes, you're.
That's the limit of me and my people. I honestly cannot disagree anymore. I don't feel like I don't want to be like again egotistical, but I feel like I'm on a pedestal, like compared to especially being luckily a Jewish woman. Like I feel like we're royalty and Malka and like we have such a responsibility, and it's like to like you said we're running the house. Like the next generation is relying on us. Like, no offense to the men, like you're very replaceable. I'm sorry. With regards to the kids, like just to see my friends who are like not really the best. Like the kids are following the mom, like majority of the time. So I'm seeing that we have such a responsibility and a beautiful, like we're lucky. I and then when I think of the matriarchs, no offense to the men, again, like earmuffs, like the patriarchs, like they always relied, like because Hashem said to Aaron, didn't say about Sarah, listen to your wife, like every single time and time again. Miriam was the one who sang. She was the one that got everyone to sing. Like there's so many stories where I find the opposite. I feel like the women were the ones that brought the gold, and we were able to like we didn't like succumb to all of the things that we throughout the history. And with each and every generation, like even Mashiach's coming through from Megillah, right?
I think that in the Jewish world, the woman has a absolute important role. I think that some of this attitude is trickling in from the secular world.
Yeah, that's what it is.
The imahot,
It's the secular-
the imahot are the imahot. The women are a more secret nature.
Right.
We spoke about it at the beginning. The malchut, the nature of the malchut is a more secret nature, and the mention of women throughout Tanakh is clear and obvious. Whether it starts, you're right. Adam and Chava, we have Chava doing the chet of Adam and Chava, and then you have the tikkun by the avot being the gilgul, Avraham, Yitzchak, Yaakov, of the nefesh, ruach, neshama of Adam, and the imahot being the gilgul of Chava. We see that Sarah is the one that kicks out Ishmael. Sarah is the one that Hashem says, Kol asher tomar lecha Sarah shma bekola. Rivka is the one that switches the brachot and brings in Yaakov instead of Esav. Rachel and Leah, they build Am Yisrael. As you go out, b'zchut nashim tzidkaniyot nigalu Yisrael. Am Yisrael was, the men were depressed in Mitzrayim. They did not want to have children. They said, what are we having children? And the Egyptians are throwing them to the water. The women said, wait. We have emunah. If the Creator said He's redeeming a nation, we're going to make a nation. They used to go to their husbands and convince them, and that was their zchut. We're talking about Chet HaEgel. The women were not involved. Throughout going to Eretz Israel, Rachav was the merging of Yoshua. You could go, there's women in Tanakh are...
Chana creates tefillah.
Chana creates tefillah. Endless. The Jewish marriage gives so much kavod. The Gemara says, Rava tells his Talmidim, the biggest segula for atzlacha, for bracha, is give honor to your wife, give kavod to your wife. The attitude that in halacha about a man being extra sensitive to his wife because chas v'shalom she may cry because women are emotional. The attitude to the Jewish woman is unbelievable. The position of the Jewish woman is unbelievable. Super respectful. Yes, the man is out there, and yes, the woman is in there. This is the design of the flow of the sfirot, and when it comes to embodying it, the yud, the hey, the vav, and the hey, it's abba, ima, ben, bat. So yes, so the man embodies the yud with everything that comes with it. The woman embodies the hey, that everything that comes with it. This is how it is. I think that looking at the world through the eyes of today is just not real and not true for the Jewish woman. The Jewish woman that lives b'tzelem Elohim, that is involved in raising a Jewish family, is like you're saying. You're bringing the Geulah, you're bringing the nation. It's obvious. I think there's all the kavod and all the pride that you deserve. The halakha says that a man should buy his wife jewelry. Why wouldn't? Right? The woman has the position of beautifying herself, of beautifying the world. There's a very exact position that the woman is embodying, and a very exact position that the man is embodying. And I think that if you could try to purify yourself from the outside winds that, like she said, are not coming from Adam, they're coming from Shedim, because the Shedim are chaos. They're interested in chaos, and the order of life is Yud Kei Vav Kei. The Jewish family symbolizes the ability of the flow of Seder Haolam, the ability of the continuation of Tzelem Elokim, Or Ein Sof, and the powers that are anti-Adam are anti the ability to continue the flow of Adam. And they're interested in chaos. They're interested in destroying this flow of Yud Kei Vav Kei. That's why Gog uMagog is Al Adonai Val Mashiach. The fight of Gog uMagog is on Hashem. So of course, we're living in this time of there's a fight on the hypocrisy and horrible thoughts. But it's more than that. It's not just fighting the God and the concept and the God in the sky. It's fighting the God in the earth, which is us. Us.
What do you mean?
The Yud Kei Vav Kei is not just as a concept. The ability of life to flow through this holy name in the world is embodied by the Jewish family. Abba, Ima, Ben, and Bat are the ability are making the vessels for the life to flow through and come to the world. And the powers that are fighting Yud Kei Vav Kei are fighting the Merkava, fighting the people that are trying to embody and bring Hashem into the world. And therefore they're fighting to bring fights between a man and a woman. They're fighting to create that man and woman should not meet each other, and that man and woman should not have children. And that's to Chas v'Shalom, to try. They're fighting the seder of Yud Kei Vav Kei, which is the seder that we are embodying. So I think that maybe you'll inspire here some women in Tanakh shiur. Think that you have a lot to be proud of who the women are, who the women are in the world, in Tanakh, in the transmission of godliness into the world, in the tikkun of what was and what will be. Like I said, there's wise on everything, but I think there's a lot to celebrate. There's a lot to celebrate, and celebrate who you are, celebrate who the Jewish women are. If you see that you're a Talmidah Chachama, you're learn about the women in Tanakh, learn more about them. So, Hashem should give you the ability to love Him and to love everything that He does and to appreciate yourself fully. And to strengthen in the world, whether it's doing more shidduchim and bringing more shalom between people and helping people have children and raise children. All these inyanim are not just doing chesed with a person. It's doing the mission of man, which is to create in the physical world that we spoke of at the beginning, the Shekhinah, is that there could be a kingship, but a people that are choosing to want the kingship of Hashem and allowing that truth of Hashem to flow into the world. Thank you for backing up. High five.
Thank you.
Maybe one last
I'm
question.
expecting to check in.
Where's Josh?
Just mention that sit also decided Wallow explained everything. Greatest beacon was the hardest one from the beginning. And long to shine, have a very good life. So just the life doesn't need a good person. Just because someone has a difficult life doesn't mean they're not a good person. The greatest beacon had the most difficult life.
That's true. That the greatest tzaddikim embody the greatest nisyanot. You're right, 100%.
And they actually suffered with other people. Their suffering wasn't because they wanted to kill people. They were threatening to sort of fall down on the future.
100%, but 100%. I think, but a woman, meaning a woman should not look at herself as anything less. A woman should celebrate her being. A Jewish woman has a lot to be thankful and to celebrate. A lot. We are such a special nation. You know, to read about who we are, these qualities exist within us. We name our kids Sarah, Rivka, Rachel, Leah. We name our kids with the names of these great heroes. These heroes are in our life. They're in the world. And I think that we should, to the contrary, should not, as much as as much as they are trying to, as much as in Mitzrayim they tried to cause affliction, in that same way HaKadosh Baruch Hu was blessing. And as much as the world is trying to bring down the woman and bring down the Jewish family cell, we should do everything we can to empower it, to rejoice with it, to celebrate it, because we really have what to celebrate. Ashrei ha'am shekacha lo, ashrei ha'am she'Adonai Elohav. And we're going to Megillat Esther. What's a greater victory than this? Esther saves the day, not the first time, not the second time, not the third time. The women are there, and this is their position, and there's no reason you should feel any low feelings, any different feelings. Embrace the fact that everyone is different. No two women are the same. Men and women are not the same. No two men are the same. And the differences of why the differences are, that's for him. But as a general level of a Jewish woman, you should rejoice with it. I think you should make, a Jewish woman part of a really, learning about the great women and learning about what made them great and celebrating that greatness and the greatness of the Jewish family. Because a woman is not just a woman is the family. And the Jewish family is contingent on the woman, on the wife. She keeps the husband, she keeps the wife, she endless, right? That's Ashreinu that we have the zchut to be in this Atem Adevekim B'Adonai Elohechem Chaim Kulchem Hayom. We have the zchut to be in dvekut with Hashem, be in dvekut with this holy Tzelem. The Ratzon that really these days of Purim that are coming to us. One last question. Go ahead.
First of all, thank you. Second of all, I've been helping on someone specific and for a long time, I mean, years. Like, I don't know, maybe 5, 6, 7 years. Really extending it. And lately, I'm feeling like that I'm putting a little bit of my ego. I really try to not put my ego and like be there to help in the right and healthy way. And lately I'm feeling like I'm putting my ego and I'm getting frustrated and I'm getting a little bit of resentful. Thank you. And I took a step back because I'm like, wait, Spear, why are you getting resentful? That's not yours. Like, why are you taking something that's not yours? So I took a step back. And I almost feel bad that I took a step back because I know the person really needs me and I know they don't help other people. I know that other people won't help because it's a very hard situation. So I'm like, I need help.
Right. So sometimes when we start helping someone, there's that will, and after a while, it thinks we could get a little, we get used to it or it becomes a habit, and we kind of like forget that original drive that we had. If this person still needs your help, and if you're able to help them without it hurting you, then I would recommend you kind of like even thought or speaking to a friend in meditation, going back to that original moment that you met them. And that original place of connection and regaining mercy on them. If you need to distance yourself and be in a safe relationship that you don't burn yourself out, so to speak, then you can take some steps back for the benefit of the relationship. It's okay. You're a human being. Just as you have to take care of them, you have to take care of yourself. So I bless you that Hashem should give you the right balance and the right balance of not burning yourself out. Chas v'shalom, when you're totally checking out like something happened. The right distance and try to connect to the beginning of the essence of the need and why you're with them. So thank you so much. Thank you. We'll to you. Hashem give all of us a happy Purim. Maybe enjoy the Purim, not be overwhelmed by the external. And we should have the zchut to see Vayamim Ahem Bazman Hazeh. We should have to see the same zchut that we had in those days. See the Geulah of Hashem, the Yeshua of Hashem. Hashem help us to see the Geulah. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. Thank you. So,
Just thinking, I don't know where else.